can be a very subversive medium. They question, they challenge, they provoke, and they expose corruption.
In drawings you can show a lot of things, emotions, statistics, relations, stuff which you are not able to show in a film or in a photo.
Comics are much more important now. For example, in newspapers there are more documentary comics, comics journalism is more important, and comics as a didactic.
And I think comics is all about connection, and without connection we can't really rewrite our narratives or share our heritage.
A comic is a very complex medium, or has the possibility to do so, to be so, because of its potential multimodality.
I actually believe that drawing is not the most important aspect of comic. The most important thing is conviction, having something you really want to express.
Remix Comics is a project that maybe relies on the quotation of Morticia Addams from the Addams Family. Normal is illusion, what is normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. So we all see normality from our perspectives, but we not very often see different perspectives of different people. So we were wondering, what if we use comics as a medium, maybe to use different art forms, to mix it with comics, and to narrate stories from marginalized groups, stories that are hidden, that are not really exposed to public, by using the medium of comics. These comics were created through artistic residencies that were held in Novi Sad, in Amsterdam, in Prague, in Ljubljana, and once more in Serbia, in Pančevo.
What we did is actually to make a temporary installation in public space, which we called exhibition. And the title of it was Made the Children on the Street Play with Your Eyes, which is a Roma curse. The exhibition itself and the idea of using a curse was a response to the project proposal. Since I was invited as a curator, they were already given a given context that I should respond to, in order that artists who are participating in a Remix Comics residency should also respond to the context. And one was do something with the comics, and other thing was do with a socially vulnerable group, and we decided it's a Roma community in Novi Sad, since its existence is not so visible, even though they are part of the history of the people here.
One saying that really struck with me was from danas do sutra, from today till tomorrow. And this is also how I plan to live my life, so it was very, interested in that. I didn't actually know that the Roma community was so close to us, and it's so big.
I took was this idea that was told to us by the boys on the first day or the second day about having the good and bad genie, like the geniuses, the giants, so to say. So that's like the main motive. I also work with the symbolics of the colors, like green for the good essence of the giant and red for the evil one.
The story about giant most strikes me because, and it was bizarre because I didn't hear anything about it before. It was inspiring and so colorful, but it is so deep and really heavy.
So these houses were also gallery spaces, and in those gallery spaces each artist not only he built at his own house, but they also, during their residency, drew comics that reflected the narratives and stories they gathered from the Roma community.
I really enjoyed that mixed media thing, like liberating. Freedom is maybe one of the themes I would emphasize. They're way like from marginal society, maybe outcast in a way, but free from many things that we are slave to.
As we are a theatre organization, we decided to participate in Remix Comix project, and in our part will be to connect different art disciplines and to try to make as theatrical as possible presentation. In front of that was research of the stories with migrants, children and people that are living recently in Amsterdam, but coming from different countries. So people that are just coming 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And the whole story was about what they know about Amsterdam and which kind of new heritage we have to find together.
To mix our performance with the visual art and the comics was a little bit challenging, but we can do it, and it's really how we combined it together. It's so nice because we started like to do movements, and when we saw the artist and what they are doing, also we adopt some movements from them, and then it's become all together like a unity.
It's such a beautiful addition to have a visual aspect in terms of a wall or in terms of costumes, where also costumes give the performers a possibility to transform into something else, and I'm very impressed with how they managed to jump into it, have a few days to understand what it is, what are the elements that have to be inside, and start working from that.
Together we find some solution how we will include our artistic practice in this process. It was a little bit difficult to find the right way to include comic style, but also to be in all that atmospheres with dancers, with performers, with wall, with some installation on that bikes.
Let's say it's always a little bit of improvisation, of figuring out things from the day to day. So at the beginning we maybe had some idea, in the end, during the process, some new things came. So let's see how it will look in the performance. I still didn't see the performance.
I just worked on costumes, and I just try to add the aesthetic of comics through the lines and through some big symbols, like we used in general the same symbols, and which we agreed on, and we agreed on a few colors, and that's it, and the magic is done.
When we were deciding on the marginalized group we want to support with this project, we decided on the young adults who are leaving foster care, because this is a group of people who really doesn't have any safety net when it comes to like a regular adult life. We wanted to like create a system for public, like a series of easy steps that the public could follow to help these people. So that's why we decided to create this mural. So this is the first outcome of the Magic Rock, and the second one is that we co-created a website to go with this mural that goes a bit into the details about the painting, what did the artist wanted to say, and of course the crossroad of help, those easy steps that the public can take.
We tried to put a positive narrative out, even though it's quite a negative story, but we spoke to a lot of people who've been through the system and how they experienced the step from foster homes to adulthood and the troubles they experienced, and we want to show the people who walk by and the people who live their life in this neighborhood that these people exist and how they can help these people integrate into society.
So here we really needed to come together as a team and agree on everything and compromise, and I feel we were very lucky because all of my mates from the project, the other residents, they're all talented artists, really professional and very open.
Yeah, I think this is a really good way because it's in a public space, and I feel if the mural is well done, that people would think it interesting it. And also on the mural there is a website where you can find more information about how to help, which everybody can access, and I think it's really good to give the public ways of doing good.
It could help. Maybe someone who saw this wall and also saw this website, maybe visit the website and get some knowledge about it, and it will be really nice if it could help.
I think it's important for artists to deal with present times, to depict the questions that are happening around us. If we can do something with it or change something, I don't necessarily agree that's our job or that's our responsibility, but I do feel like it's important to also make work dealing with the present time and present issues. Yeah.
Remix Comix in Ljubljana was focused on autonomous cultural center Metelkova City, in which artists, craftsmen and activists, social activists are also, besides their own work, trying to find new ways of living, new social relations, base for a world with equal opportunities for everyone. And in the artists in residence have been working with local people, local artists from AKC Metelkova City, together to create various paintings on the wall and also sculptures. They also use the space and the tools of Metelkova City.
Nakon što smo se malo tu upoznali kako i sa tim ljudima koji su organizatori, tako i sa samom tom ekipom koja je tu malo na neki drugačiji način bleji u toj Metelkove, zapravo smo došli do tog jednog simbola koji se često može vidjeti u Ljubljani, a to je taj njihov zmaj ili nešto što bi se reklo možda kao više neka aždaja. Na kraju je tu bio izveden jedan rad jednog miša, pošto je miš, to je pacao, simbol Metelkove i ljudi koji su tu već, bogami, 30 godina, koji zapravo grize za jezik tog, pa ne bih sad baš rekao ljubljanskog zmaja, ali sigurno tog zmaja.
I wanted to draw a connection here between trees in the city and autonomous cultural center Metelkova, because they're both like vivid spaces in the city that appear when there is space for them, and they host different forms of life and communities and creation which is spontaneous, and both can be easily destroyed, so they are fragile and we have to take care of them.
Since in Metelkova there's a lot of different people hanging out, and it's basically the center of counterculture of Slovenia and maybe Balkans and ex-Yugoslavia. So I wanted to show that all these people form sort of a tribe, like it's a counterculture tribe that exists within the city of Ljubljana. So I painted these pagan figures and tribal masks and totems. And that was the idea.
Tagline or the title of the exhibition is Alone Together, and there is some research that shows us that the older people and elderly in general in Serbia, the main concern for them is that they feel lonely and they are going to stay alone in this, let's say, final few years of their life. The whole process started with conducting oral history interviews with four older people here in Pančevo. And Maida Gruden, which is a co-curator and co-producer of this exhibition, and I made some, let's say, summaries for the artists and gave them to prepare short comics on what they heard. And second phase of the project was this residency here in Pančevo, where they had time, maybe 10 days, to produce some kind of a derivative work from that comic. And those works are going to be exhibited in the public spaces, which are connected to the stories from the interviews.
Ostalo što radim tu na rezidenciji su u bistvu neki materijali koji su isto tako vezani i na vreme, i na istoriju grada. U bistvu radim sa pronađenim predmetima, to mi je neki medij koji mi je, mislim, baš mi leži, vrlo mi se sviđa.
I was thinking when the comics was about differences between dating back then and now, it would be maybe nice to do something that is still the same. So I was thinking one of the things that might be the same is the places where you would go and to take your date to.
Pa, ja sam crtao strip po priči Ivana Rakedžića. On je reditelj iz Pančeva. I onda je on pričao tako o svom životu, gdje je izlazio u Pančevu, tako ateljevom mladih. Tu je on dolazio, bavio se režijom i takvim stvarima. I onda sam ja u tom stripu tako kao slušam što on priča, pa onda ja sad tu razmišljam ono šta sam ja radio u Pančevu kad sam ja bio kao u njegovim u ranim mladosti.
They lived in totally different time and they had different ways of hanging out and doing stuff. And now this old lady, she told me that they're a bit alone. So I was thinking, yeah, if I'm alive since that age, I don't know what to expect because everything is really, really different. But hopefully we will not be so lonely, but I'm not sure because the times are changing and we are lonely now.
Yeah, well, Remix Comics always has like two layers. It's on one hand it's about comics about heritage, and on the other hand also comics as heritage. We don't take heritage as a frozen thing from the past, something solid, but also something that's alive, so that we can create new heritage.
We are a very visual generation also with the internet, and it helps to, the comic is a sequence of images and you can click through it and be inside like in a movie, but you can also use a lot of visual information which you are not able to make a photo or a film about. So the comic has a lot of options for journalism or for science or art, whatever.
The old, say, commercial forms of comics is losing terrain because all new forms of entertainment are getting bigger and bigger, like from games to social media. But on the other hand, comics are much more important now. For example, in newspapers are more documentary comics, comics journalism is more important, and comics as a didactic, non-fictional comics that is really booming and getting bigger and bigger. Comics is both this global phenomenon and it's really, accessible because, as you said, they're images. So it's even, we don't read Serbian, we can still look at the images of comics over here. So it's really inspiring to see all these different local scenes that do different things, and therefore events like this are really important.
What I'm interested in is individual stories that in the end tell a collective narrative. So I've been showing examples from comics artists based in many different places in order to show that individual stories are very important. Individual stories need to be told, and they can be told in many different ways through comics. And thanks to that, we learn about major, bigger themes or historical or cultural contexts. And even if we're not from those places, we can empathize with these different stories because the stories are personal. And I think comics is all about connection. And without connection, we can't really rewrite our narratives or share our heritage. So that connection is very important.
As a museum curator, I thought that we could do something in this field because comics as a medium has great potential in dissemination of different content. Also in the field of pedagogy, field of history, museum curatorship, and it can provide us the possibilities to attract new audiences to the museums.
An exhibition about comics is a very, very complex thing, and you can address different things there naturally and address them. And you can mark these layers of interpretation, so you can just mark them as what they are, that is subjective. So you don't have this claim on showing something in an objective way, because there is no objective way.
Comics are an excellent way to tell stories, so you can tell personal stories about news-related events, and they give more background and context to the actual facts, so people can relate to it more because they can emphasize with the people who are in these comic stories.
We have like comics about collectives and about communities, and comics as collectives and as communities. So we have formed a collective already, let's say the Remix Comics Collective, which is transnational, it's interdisciplinary. So we try to reach out to these collectives as a collective and learn about communities through comics, through interpreting their stories in visual language and textual language, and in the combination of these vocabularies.
Comics is not a perfect medium. All media can be used for good and for bad, but the strength of comics also is how low-key and low-tech it is. You can make a comic quite easily. It's not like making a movie. You can distribute it online. You can make it into a webtoon on your mobile, and you can reach people very, very quickly and directly. And this allows for a lot more personal communication and a lot more for material that is not necessarily official or approved by the people who are controlling our lives. So as a space for free thought and free expression, comics remain very, very powerful.
Yeah, the hero can be subversive too. It can be also from community that is outside, who is not seen as a winner. Like you speak about people with mental disability, for example. It's sure that that also the story of comics has changed a lot also, and is still changing.
Yeah, usually I always like to define myself as an apolitical or as somebody who's not interested to make political statement, but unfortunately, being from where I am, everything you do is political anyway, like just drawing is political. And then events invite themselves in my work rather than the contrary. So when this kind of war happens with Israel, I cannot continue working on something else. So it's more the politics that forces itself into my work, and then I have to react, and this is where my work becomes heavily political.
In my book I try for the reader to allow to step into the shoes of someone with a mental disability, so that maybe the gap that sometimes is between people that are with disability and people that are without disability gets a bit smaller, and maybe we can create some understanding of the other group.
It's always difficult to find, to reach the targets. Making comics is a process. It's not about like a to-do list that you just check off and then you reach the target. So maybe in a few years we will know whether we reached the targets that we have set or that we have realized certain things that we wanted to realize. But for now I can already see that Remix Comics is functioning somehow as a collective. There's new connections, new networks, new infrastructures have been made for developing other contemporary comics. And we have worked with the marginalized groups, and some of the output is also sustainable. For example, in Prague we have this website that also gives space for next steps in including marginalized groups and also strengthening their community and their collective. So there's good hope that we're on the right pathway.